Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of GB Podcast.
It's so loud.
On this episode, we've got myself, Slunk,
Percival,
Dwayne,
Egger.
Hey, we're back once again as we have been keeping up with our weekly schedule. Probably made a lot easier by the fact that we don't have to drive anywhere. And really, I mean, if you missed your weekly schedule, you're just being lazy at this point, I think.
Damn. Just attacking people now.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to be doing? Like, what did you have planned? Whose birthday party are you going to? Nobody's. Who's
What are you talking about? People are going everywhere. People are fucking out and about, right? I don't know what you're talking about.
And they should not
go
be.
do things.
And they should not be. And that's been what we've been dealing with here in America. But I recently read that at least in LA, our response to social distancing and the COVID-19 outbreak has been rated as A. We got an A.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Who's doing the worst? Who's got the lowest grades?
Florida.
I'm just gonna assume Florida at this point.
Florida. Jesus.
Damn.
But just
That's terrible.
The hate on Florida. It's like, it doesn't matter what's happening, we're always going to hate on Florida.
Florida.
I have friends from Florida, so they're okay. So I was gonna ask, how are you guys doing? Any news from being home all day?
I for one stay home.
Yeah.
Not like those crazy people being out and about.
Mm-hmm.
Stay home.
And I went to so there's a restaurant here that I like going to called Max's. Shout out Max's in Monrovia. Like one of my favorite spots to go. It's good Mexican food. They have like big ass beers and it's nice. It's just a nice place to go. It's family friendly, but you can also get pretty tipsy there and have a good time. And I was hungry and I was like, I'm gonna go support local business and go order some food. And this whole situation kind of really hit home. When I went there, it was, I didn't know what to expect. I called ahead of time to make sure that they were open, and I got there and they had the lines outside, like you stand here and then the next person can stand here, up going to the front door. And then they had signage, on the doors that were talking about COVID-19, and then there was one that said only one customer is allowed inside at a time for pickup. So I opened the door, nobody was there, and they have like a little like foyer where there's like benches where you like wait to get your seat sometimes. Well, there's like a table that's blocking that off from the rest of the restaurant. Like most of the lights are off, and there's like two employees there that are like in gloves and mask. And they're like, "Can we help you?" Wow. Yeah, I have a pickup order, and there's like signs.
What do you want?
Yeah, there's like signs about staying 6 feet away for your safety and everything, and they're like handing stuff to you like from across the table. It's just, It was really sad. Yeah, it was kind of crazy to see that, and one of my favorite restaurants, and they're small, like it's like a small restaurant, so they don't really have the room for liability issues, I'm sure, and I'm sure they were asked to be extra careful. But yeah, it was kind of wild. So
let's see. Since last week, I've been to. I went to one place. I just went to the weed shop. I went to a dispensary, and there they had the same thing. They had outside they had all the X's with tape on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went in. They had X's everyone on the ground. Everyone like, please stand on where appropriately. Luckily, it wasn't full.
Mm-hmm.
There was like 2 people in there when I went in, and just seeing them, like one was already at the window, so I'm like, I'm stood back as far as possible.
Yeah, and
like I'm like just chilling in the bag, just chilling. All right, next. So like that guy was still there, and I was like, am I supposed to go like at the window? Yeah. So he finally like leaves. Like I go forward, and they're like, awesome. Do you know what you want already? And I'm like, oh no, usually we go in. Oh yeah, we have all the things like on here. I was like, so they had like all the the products on papers like outside and things are like marked off and stuff like that. I'm like, this is way different compared to before. How we go in and look at everything and take our time, look around. And I was like, know what you want, get it, and get the fuck out. Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't even know. I mean, it's like I actually need your help. I don't know what I'm looking at.
It was like,
Advise me.
two of your finest marijuanas, please.
What about you guys? Have you guys left the front door for anything?
Well, Friday I went to a restaurant, Drunken Crab, ordered to pick it up, and yeah, same thing on the as you get into the right before you go in, there's a sign that says, if you're feeling sick at all, don't come in. Like, like basically leave.
Fuck off.
And once you come in, you have to go to the bar, be 6 feet away, tell them basically what your order was because I ordered online, and I walked in, and like so I walk in and they have like a trail going forward, and there's tables on each side, so you can't go anywhere else unless it's around to go exit back out the door. So it's like you go in and it goes out. It's fucking crazy. I got my food. Went back to the house and we were eating it. And me and my pops and we were like, "Wow, it's really good today." And we think about it, maybe because they're actually paying attention to like it's not a restaurant rush. You're actually able to adequately cook everything correctly. And I'm like, this is
Take our time.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the usual coughing and sneezing like it usually does.
Undercooked food that's getting like I'm not as gassy as usual.
This restaurant it's a good restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And then the only other thing is like we had to do our shopping and went to Costco, and luckily Costco's been super like they're adamant about every like as soon as you get your cart, you go in, they hand you a disinfectant towel. They only allow 10 at a time. It's crazy. You go in, it's fucking quiet. Like it looks empty because it pretty much is. The whole section where the lines were, I remember there used to be a bunch of like pallets and stuff. They removed everything, so now there's every 6 feet back, and then like they open every other cashier, so they have everything separated. Again, still can't find toilet paper. So, but the thing is
the mission continues.
Luckily, I still have enough for another like maybe 2 weeks, but we kind of want to get them because you never know. So we're probably gonna try to hit it up on the weekend, like super early, because we've been going after we're still working, so after work, maybe we could try to get in line before it opens. We'll see.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that are having issues with toilet paper too. It really sucks because everybody who like hoarded it beyond necessity are truly just shitty people. I mean, literally and figuratively.
What I am glad though is that none of the Costco's are taking back any of that. They're not taking back toilet paper. They're not taking back any disinfectant. They're like, nope, you guys are stuck with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't take it back.
So with like a family of 4, like you get how much toilet paper would be allowed?
There was a video of a dad who calculated like rolls per person.
Yeah.
Per week. It was
RPP P dubs.
Video.
Are you guys more conscious of how many squares you're using?
I am now.
Honestly, I am. I really am.
Yeah. Counting the squares. It's like makes you appreciate each one a little more.
It's like, all right, how much am I actually rolling,
Yeah.
Don't make this big old glob anymore. Just, like a little fold.
No, you just get the whole roll and just wipe.
Then you rip there and you use the double square, and that's where you start.
Double square.
Yeah.
Double square.
I remember in high school at ROTC, one of our drill instructors, he said, you know how you wipe you know how to wipe your ass with one sheet of toilet paper? And they're like, no, how do you do that? So like you get one sheet, you put your finger to the middle, you get everything out, and then you get the paper and then you wipe it off. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Why are you telling this to kids?
Prepare you for the future. He knew.
I have dinner right here. It's waiting for me. Look at it. It's just it's waiting. It's waiting for being. He'll be there.
What about you, Dwayne? What are you?
Wash your butt. What are they called? Bidets.
Bidets. Yeah. I've used them, and I'm like, Yeah, this seems logical. I don't know why everybody doesn't have one.
Like, why are
Huh?
It's a butt shower.
What was that, Dwayne? I sorry, I didn't hear you.
Supposedly it's more sanitary.
Yeah.
It's efficient in terms of water usage.
I mean, if it wasn't such a hassle to like get in the shower and just shower off every time you took a dump, I mean, you probably would if you could.
Yeah.
But it's really gross and you don't want shit in your bath. So just don't do that.
Do the waffle method. Just stomp it down.
No, oh, damn it.
Have you heard about that? How There's
What?
people who shit in the shower and the way they do it, they just
No.
stop. They use their
No.
foot to just force it down.
There's a lot of things in the life I don't need to know about.
It's
And that's
unnecessary.
waffle method was
Quick
not one of them.
question.
Definitely one of them.
Do you pee in the shower?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys pee in the pool?
What happened?
You guys pee
No.
in the pool?
No.
No.
No, not in the pool.
It's pretty stupid because I mean, okay, the thing is, you don't want to get out of the shower and make a fucking mess. That's the problem, right? Like, you don't want to get out of the shower and then just like you're like running, you're like slipping everywhere, about to kill yourself.
Sleeping everywhere.
Like, you only like you're like my body is this big, but you don't realize how much water is on you until you rush out of the shower, and suddenly like it looks like there's a flood. Like, what just happened? Why is there so much water on the floor? I just slept out for 2 seconds, and it looks like somebody just let a hose out. Yeah, it's weird, right?
So I'll accept the fact that people pee in the pool, and it happens. People are lazy, but there's people that imagine you pee in the pool, right? Whatever, it happened. But imagine getting out of the pool to pee into it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the exact same thing.
But it's worse.
But you're a fucking freak if you do it.
well, that's the whole peeing. You're not supposed to announce that you peed in the pool. You're supposed to
Hey, guys, it was me.
yeah,
It's warm over here. Look.
yeah.
Well, what was that movie where I think they go to like some water park?
Grown ups or grown ups
And-
too. One of those two.
Was it that one
Yeah.
where they pee and like in the water park and like it changes the color of their pee, so like it's like super like bright and everyone can tell it was them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's either grown ups or grown ups too.
Some like shaming fluid.
Shaming
What's the
fluid.
point of that other than to shame somebody?
Yep. Well, I'm glad you guys have had managed to have some sort of fun in life out there in this crazy world. But I think the one thing that our listeners are looking forward to us talking about more than anything is another crazy world that happened sometime last year that got turned into a documentary that Netflix has been pimping out for the last few weeks. And that is The Tiger King. Netflix.
Holy shit!
So if you,
Good job,
Wow.
Dwayne. Great recommendation.
yeah, Dwayne recommended this last week. It became our homework to watch it. I literally binged it a half hour before this podcast started. I just fucking powered through it. So if you haven't watched it and you don't want to hear spoilers, well then just thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next podcast.
But even if there's spoilers, there's so much going on. Like,
It's just every
Holy
episode
shit.
got a.
Oh
yeah,
Well, my favorite one has to be. By the way, we're entering spoiler territory, so get out. My favorite one has to be at the end of episode 2, and like and everyone pretty much believes she killed her husband. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Like out of nowhere,
Oh my
this thing comes up.
because,
We're
the
talking
thing is,
about
this whole
illegal
time,
holding illegal animals. Then we're talking about murder. Then we're talking about drug usage. And it just keeps escalating.
but the thing is, this whole time before that, they're trying to make her like, oh, she's helping the animals. She's a good. And then, oh yeah, by the way, she killed her husband and probably killed her husband and fed him to the tigers. Like, wait, what?
yeah.
By the way, if you don't know what we're talking about, fucking Tiger King,
Oh,
Tiger fucking
God.
King.
Yeah.
So, every time at the end of every episode, you're like, and there's a new twist.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So there was a lot of characters. There's a lot of twists. There was a lot of backstabbing and even just kind of like the way Netflix produced it. like they frame somebody as being a good person, and then they show you some other side of them, and then they show somebody else who's like a bad person, and you're like, but they're kind of a good person. And you can I mean I would love I guess I would like to start from the beginning. We're introduced to a few people in the tiger exchange business. Well, it's kind of like this weird private world, right? Like I didn't know about it. I was not aware that this existed. That there was,
And it was
like,
this huge. How big this whole world is.
Joe's from Oklahoma.
quickly. Moises says hello in Twitch. I'm Twitch and hi Moe and Twitch.
Oh, number one fan.
Number one fan.
Dark Knight 05. Love you guys, Moy.
Yes, I mean, I guess first, what about Doc? We'll talk about Doc real quick. He was I think he was in Florida. They keep referring to him as Doc, and he has like a sanctuary for wild animals, and it seems innocent enough at first, and then all of a sudden, huh?
Until they tell you what he's the doctor of.
Well, that comes later. That's not even like the first what the fuck they tell you about him, right? First they're like
the whole time, and you're like, okay.
First you're like, yeah, this guy's, I mean, pretty normal, like kind of a little weird, and then always got Bogdavaz like his name, like, or what is that? What is that? And then you go and find out that, well, actually, this lady's not his wife. It's just one of his like
Many
5 wives,
Many wives.
10 wives.
Girlfriends.
They keep cutting to different people. They're like, do you know how many?
All free to leave at any time.
Yeah, that's
nothing like a cult at all.
No.
That's, but how do
Not leaving a cult.
You know, they work, what was it, like, is it 18 hours a day?
Mm-hmm.
For how much was it?
Like
for food and for a place to live.
Yeah.
All right, God damn it.
and some Lord Dick apparently.
No, you don't have to have the dick.
You gotta.
In order to if you want to move up,
Yeah.
you get the dick.
Yeah, if you want to. And only like one person was like, yeah, I'm out of here. But yeah, these women were with him for like 10, 15 years, something like that. Like,
yeah,
that's crazy to me.
A good moment from that is when the girl who escaped or left or whatever, when her dad says, yeah, don't go off marrying the guy or something like that.
Don't go falling in love with your boss.
Yeah, don't fall in love with your boss.
Yeah.
Whoops.
And they were interviewing one of the other people, and they were like, "So was he like he was saying like, yeah, he's a mentor, and you know that's cool and all, but I really wanted to know is like, how does he train all those women?"
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Like fuck the tigers. I want to know how you train these women. Like, damn, guys.
All sorts of stuff going on there. What's up with the chicks?
Yeah, so it's just that guy is fucking weird. Like he's like throughout the whole thing, he's skirting the law. He's like skirting being a bad guy, but
Yeah,
you're like, this guy ain't cool. Yeah, he's doing
creepy.
something. There's some
like
jokes.
his was more his compared to Tiger King, Joe Exotic. His was like it almost looked decent compared to like Joe's fucking ragtag muffin of group that that he has. It's like, all right, fucking
Yeah, but it's like you're comparing like ex-convicts to like sex slaves. It's like that's the employment difference. It's really weird. Yeah.
No, but I'm more talking about like the grounds of it. Like he's getting fucking food from Walmart,
my
like all
God,
the
that's
expired meats and shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Getting day-old meat, and then the sad part is you find out, some of the workers were taking some of that because that's how they fed themselves.
Like,
You're like,
and then them going, there's some good cuts of meat on here. Like, pretty happy with that. Like this is when they find like something like, oh, this is still frozen. Like what?
I'll keep denying it.
Crazy. And they have this loyalty they get. Like every single one of these, people have this loyalty of the people around them. Even the girl who lost her arm.
oh my god,
Dude.
Working.
All right, so now we're talking about Joe.
Next week. She came
Joe
back.
Exotic.
yeah,
Yeah, Joe Exotic had that worker who had her arm through a tiger cage, and then
Tiger took
he
her
got
arm.
ripped. Tiger took her arm. You see it on the video that
They
they were
recorded
filming
everything because he's crazy.
Yeah.
And then I was telling this to Percy earlier that I thought when they were doing that scene, you know how they were talking about doing a reality TV show?
Mhm.
They were. I thought this was like, oh, we're just gonna like make it seem like something happened for reality TV.
Yeah.
And then like, but it just kept on going and going. Like, oh, this is fucking real.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
something that tripped me out about that I didn't catch it the first time, but I saw it on Twitter was this dude had enough time to change his bomber jacket to an EMT bomber jacket, and then ran off to go help the person that lost the arm.
Mhm.
So he had enough time
Yeah.
to run inside his house, change outfits, and then go out there.
Hey, you gotta change into proper attire when you're helping people.
There we go.
Yeah. well,
Doesn't Superman fucking switch when he's fucking saving people? He doesn't go off as Clark Kent. He can't do that shit.
Oh,
Can't confuse the people, Percy. You're over
Yeah.
there trying to be confusing, confusing.
Glasses, Clark Kent. Uniform,
Oh.
EMT.
yeah. You gotta get dressed for the show.
Yeah,
You're going on set. You're not gonna be out of costume. Crazy. Yeah. So that was definitely wild. And then like obviously that kind of makes you say say that's kind of something's weird and wrong about this. But Joe's still kind of like the good guy.
He's so endearing to a point. Like I still like at the beginning episodes, those first episodes.
Yeah.
I was sort of on his side. He did some crazy shit, but then like he started talking about all the murders and like, oh, I wish someone would kill this bitch and all that, and I'm like, ooh, like that's when I started like maybe I shouldn't be rooting for this guy.
Right. Well.
everyone on this is terrible.
Okay,
they
but
always give you a little bit like, oh, maybe I should be rooting for this person. No.
yeah, but specifically, so he starts to become endearing because he's gay and misunderstood and had a hard upbringing because of that. Like you kind of have like this, like you kind of feel bad for him in that sense. And also, it seems like he's hiring convicts because he has a good heart. Because he kind of like, huh?
He's the underdog in this
There's
fight.
that, yeah. There's the underdog. And
He's an underdog.
He's
Carole,
helping-
who's well off.
and we get to that later why she's well off. but with Joe, yeah, you have the feeling of like, look at him, he's helping people that just got a job that probably won't get a job anywhere else. He's helping those around him, so you kind of get a feeling, all right, come on, buddy, you got this. And then you find out other shit.
Well, they show that scene where he's at the gas station and he's hiring somebody who looks like they're homeless, and he's giving her cash.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, he comes off as a very, I don't know, from what we're seeing, as a very good guy person. Do you guys want to get to Carole? Or do you guys want to hit some of the other side characters first? We're gonna go back to Joe. He's not done yet.
Oh, he's not
For sure. For sure.
Let's go to Carole.
Okay. So
Go ahead, explain what she is.
Carole is a person who's running an organization called Big Cat Rescue, and I will admit that I actually followed them on YouTube before, like years ago.
You got.
Yeah, I mean,
Look at the green shirt.
there was cats, and they were like acting like baby cats, and they were recording them, and I was like, that's cute, so I followed it, right? So I'm definitely one of those statistics. No, I never gave them money, or I never saw those like, hey, what did she say? What's her intro to her videos?
Hey there, cats and kittens.
Yeah, I never saw one of those.
We got Dark Knight 05 #1 fan saying, "Who is the worst one?"
We'll save that for the end. Who's the worst one?
Through everybody.
Yeah, we gotta go through everybody. So she has this big organization. She has this husband dude who's like kind of like nerdy and weird. They show their wedding photos, and there's that one of him like in like cat clothes, and he's like chained like a cat, like you walk a cat, and they're just trying to be cute. They're fucking weird, but there's no law against being fucking weird.
You're allowed to be weird in your love bubble.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Nothing wrong with that. You're into that kink. You want to be a cat? Be a cat. But she's like full blown crazy cat lady. The issue with her is that she became very wealthy because her husband suddenly disappeared. And then after 5 years, he was declared dead because that's the way it works, because nobody ever found him, and she inherited was like 90% of his wealth, and he was like he had millions. He had lots of money.
And you find out that the reason she got 90% was because she shifted some stuff around and got control of the will. Not
Like
proven.
right before everything.
Yeah,
Right.
but
The
it's proven.
owner of the will. What's that position called? She changed it.
Executor
Executive.
was his executive assistant, and then it
Yeah.
became her.
Yep. And then
So
it got
okay,
changed.
well, real quick, did she or did she not kill her husband?
Yeah,
we have the Costa Rica conspiracy that he took out to Costa Rica and is living his best life out
No.
there.
No way.
Okay.
So the only thing that like makes me think that might have happened is was it the friend who was like the missing husband told the friend like, man, if I could pull this off, and then like stop talking. So I don't know how much that plays into it.
Yeah.
But then all the loose ends, I didn't like his van that he just got out of the shop. Hey, let's go to Costa Rica, buddy. Like, and he just like left it at the airport. I'm like, is this possible that this might have happened?
Mhm.
Would you be
Well, you remember?
would you be that lazy to leave your car there and not have someone else leave you there, or take a taxi there, or something? You know, why you're taking your car that you're known for, that you just got out of the shop. That's the thing that misleads me into thinking that she killed him.
Well,
it's just a loose end.
If you remember, everyone was like, yeah, they were fighting. The fact that he calls his ex-wife and lets her know, yeah, I fucked up. This bitch is crazy. Like he did not have a relationship with his ex-wife. Like I know he had kids with her, but he broke her heart and everything. But the way that he wills and tells her this, and she goes, yeah, he told me that something bad was gonna happen. And then he told his friend, something bad might happen. Then his lawyer was like, okay, this isn't like he was acting weird, and like he would never do something like that, and like he wanted to divorce her. Everyone knew he wanted to divorce her, and then he goes missing.
Yeah.
She fed him to the tigers.
So the other theory is he loved women, and he loved younger women, and he had a girlfriend in Costa Rica. I'm gonna say that's probably why he loved going to Costa Rica, because he was banging some chick down there. And he had some scheme where he was gonna take a bunch of cars down there. And they don't really go into detail as to what that scheme was. Just he had to ship
He
a
had
bunch
some
of
other
cars.
business.
Some other business down there, yeah. So I guess the theory would be that he wanted to disappear and he wanted to live a life down there as like Don fucking Wero, like running his own little, and you never really know like what he could be. Also, there are other businesses he could be into because he had a lot of money. They're talking about him burying like money in the ground, burying gold bars in the ground. I mean, for all we know, that guy could have been some kind of crazy drug runner, and
Or he had Alzheimer's and he didn't know where he was.
Yeah, that was a dumb one. That was the dumbest. Yeah. Carole, if she's trying to reach for an alibi, she's just too stupid to make a good one up. With that Alzheimer thing, like she should just be, I don't know, Yeah, I would err on the side that it seems like he killed her. She killed him. And then got rid of his body. And you're like in Florida. There's a long list of things you could do to get rid of a body in Florida. So.
Not sure of the fact that they have fucking tigers to get rid of bodies.
Yeah, but even then, I think that'd be a dumb move. Not that I'm trying to say that she's smart, but it's just like you'd have bones and you'd have remnants and stuff, and the human bodies, I would imagine, be a lot to consume.
Didn't they have?
Didn't they say that at the tiger
or
stomach?
whatever, or a furnace or something like that?
That was the other one. That was the weird dude up in.
No, they said Carole had one too.
No, her theory was that he was buried under a septic tank.
Yeah.
Oh,
also, someone had mentioned that tigers could their stomach could dissolve bones if cut up small enough, and like, okay.
Yeah, I mean that takes a lot of effort. To display. I mean, unless you're Big Top from Snatch, but
I mean,
I like pigs.
Just with all the things she did, like right after he died, it was why you want to speculate that she did do it. cutting out his daughter. Well, not cutting him out, but like cutting out the, lowering the percentage.
Cutting out the rest of the family.
Yeah, cutting out the rest of the
10%.
family. Sure, I'm sure they had like discrepancies and whatnot, but like it just seemed like such a drastic difference. She took 90%. I think the daughters got 10% between the three of them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, the daughters and the wife, ex-wife.
Yeah.
But the part that made me sad was when the mom starts talking about her son, about the missing husband. And he's like, I just know if he was out there, he would have reached out to me by this point.
Oh,
Yeah.
So that was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
this
Yeah, I mean, he was kind of a creep. I mean, he was like picking up like girls that were 20 years younger than him on the street. You know, he definitely was. Out of all this, he wasn't an innocent guy either. It doesn't
of
sound
course
like
not.
it.
Of course not.
Yeah, like everybody's an asshole in this fucking movie or this show.
They try to paint him as like a nice, like fun-loving guy, and then you hear, his dark side after, just like everyone else.
Yeah, he seems very selfish as well. But yeah, I mean, yeah, she killed him. She killed him. She killed him.
Yeah, man.
And she's
Allegedly.
she's fucking weird too. So I could imagine in her head like
The fish oil comment.
Oh,
the sardine oil.
What?
yeah, she was talking. So they're talking about when it was where Joe Exotic gets attacked by that tiger on his foot when he's trying to make his video. And she's like, it's like the perfume, he would have just been cuddling. If you really wanted him to attack him, you would have put like sardine oil on his shoes. And it's like that's oddly specific.
Yeah,
And
that
it's
was
like
so
a
fucking
weird
specific.
chuckle, like hey, kind of like what the fuck?
What?
Yeah.
Another thing that's iffy to me about her is let's say she did kill her husband, and then she's gonna go on to a documentary and just be there and just give all these responses, and like you're either so confident that you're not gonna get caught, or you're that delusional.
Oh, she's delusional. Don't get me wrong. She's got some delusions. That lady is not. She's not right in the head a little bit. She's definitely delusional, and she I lost sympathy for her or empathy for her when they were talking about the fact that she used to be one of these people that she's fighting against. I'm like, oh, there you go, there it is. Like that's all I really needed to hear. That she's just one of these people that became self-righteous, about the mission.
Well, I'm helping them.
Yeah, it
because
doesn't seem like it.
I'm getting them at the end of their life.
Oh my god!
And but making money off it on the side as well.
There's that moment where she's saying, yeah, they're putting him in small cages, and these poor animals. While in the meantime, you look in the back, there's a tiger in a small ass cage. Like
Head to that little hole to drink some water.
Yeah.
Doing the same shit. They are. It's just you again feel self-righteous and feel like, oh no, I'm protecting him. They're the bad one.
Let's not forget her volunteers.
Oh, that's right. No one gets paid at all, and you have to work your way up with shirt colors to do more shit. Like, what the fuck?
I'm proud to say I'm now purple tiered. What was there? There was like 4 or 5 like different levels, and it's like each one represents like a different year that you've been there.
Yeah, and like to get to one, you have to be there for X amount of years. Like what the fuck? And it's not paid.
And then they ask her like, "Oh, do you meet with like any like the first year or like those? I don't know. I think they were green colors."
Yeah.
I'm like, honestly, I don't know any of them.
Like, basically,
it's not something come later
they're
on.
beneath me. Like once you get here is when I actually pay attention. Like fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even Joe Exotic, like, I don't know how she got all those fucking people to do this shit for free. Like, that's the shit I want to know.
Yeah.
People, 150 a week?
Something like that.
He did
provide housing, I think. They got trailers or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Joe Dirt's books weren't Joe Exotic. Joe Exotic's
not that far off.
Where his books probably weren't too accurate. I'm sure there was a lot of cash that kind of greased the system a bit.
So we're still focused on like the first 3-4 episodes.
Yeah.
All this is just like within there.
Those are just 3 that got introduced: Joe Exotic, Carole, And fuck the dude's name from North Carolina. What was it?
The doc. I
Doc,
don't remember his
Dr.
name.
Bhagavad.
And
Yeah, Antio.
And-
Yeah.
There we go. That
And
one.
then you get introduced to more people.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's, real quick mention, like, there's a lot of people that are recurring characters. We could talk about his husbands. Real quick, the guy, we'll talk about Travis.
Wait.
What?
There's like
Gay
3 husbands, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well,
The
2,
husband that was gay.
I feel like the last guy was gay. The last one. His last husband.
Final one. Well, yeah.
Yeah, and
Dylan.
When he married after.
Dylan.
We should go.
Yeah.
Happened.
I mean, was the guy's name Travis? I can't fucking remember.
Travis was one of the second husband.
Yeah, the one who came in.
Other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
California.
the Southern California kid who was meth addict and weed and kind of just didn't have a place there. There was, they were showing a lot of people being interviewed, and then obviously you notice like they're not interviewing this guy. He's in the story, but
Yeah, that's what
where is he?
Everything. And I was like waiting for what was going to happen. And I was like,
Because you knew he was dead, right? Like you knew he was probably
No,
I
dead.
don't know.
I did not.
I don't know.
I guessed he was dead.
they were
No,
going to introduce him in jail or something, but like they just didn't want to give it away.
Nope.
I thought
I'm-
it was more of he just didn't want to be there anymore and they just left. That's what I thought. And
Nope.
then holy shit.
No.
I just figured he wasn't one of the people being interviewed. That's all. Like I didn't figure that he was dead.
No,
And
They talked to a lot of people in this.
I know. That's why I mean it feels like everybody wanted to talk. Even people who are even people who are like at risk of incriminating themselves with very serious crimes still got in front of the camera voluntarily.
Yep.
So I was like, this dude's dead for sure. And I'm sure that they offered all these people fucking money. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure, like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, $3,000. I'll get on camera. That goes a long way in Oklahoma. I'm sure, man.
They show his mom before you found out what happened to him.
I think right after.
Joe's
No, I know
mom
they
or
showed her
Travis'
after.
mom?
They talked to her after.
Travis's mom.
Oh yeah, they don't show it to they show her at the wedding and then after that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he invited her to the new wedding and then stopped
Yeah.
talking to her
It was fucked up.
after. But we'll talk about more about that. Yeah, that scene when he fucking shot himself, that was
Dude.
shocking.
Oh,
That
oh
was
my god.
shocking.
Oh, because
That
So, like, even for the setting up the scene is the crazy guy who killed himself. He comes into the room and points a gun at the tech guy, not the tech guy, the campaign manager.
Which we
Yeah,
Oh,
so
I
he
feel bad.
points the
campaign
gun at him.
manager for Joe Exotic's presidential run. Okay, sorry. This is not gonna
Presidential
make sense.
governor, mayor.
I'm trying to rein in this podcast so it
there's
makes
so much
sense.
stuff.
So it makes sense, but I'm realizing that this is really hard.
Yeah,
There's so
I thought I was getting
much shit
frustrated because
going
I'm
on.
like, I'm getting frustrated because I'm like, this isn't making sense. We're like going off on different directions, but I'm like, that was the fucking show.
yeah.
Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry to
So
interrupt.
no, you're perfectly fine because every little detail of this story branches out into fucking 85 different stories. So it doesn't matter where we start; it's gonna fucking just branch out anyways.
Yeah.
So, future dead dude comes in and points a gun at the campaign manager, and he does like a thing like going like that or something like that. And the campaigner like, hey, don't fucking, I've talked to you about this before. Don't fucking point a gun at me. I've told you this shit 100,000 of times.
Yeah.
And the future dead dude, he's like, dude, it's not even loaded. It's one of these, what is it?
Travis.
Travis.
Keep calling him future dead dude.
Hey, he's gonna be dead in the
He's not
future.
wrong.
Right? Just like all of
In the
us.
near future too.
Yeah. So Travis, future dead dude, is over here like telling him, "Oh yeah, this is the type of gun where once the clip is out, there's nothing in it or some shit like that, right?"
Yeah, what he says
So
is
he-
they're like, oh, this is the type of gun that if the clip isn't in it, it won't fire.
Right. So like, and he does pretty much like a look, or like puts the gun under his chin, pulls the trigger, and you just see like the blood spatter because the camera, the way it's angled is like he's sitting right under the camera.
Yeah, he's sitting directly under the camera, so you can't see him, but you see the guy's reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just fucking like
He's frozen.
like, and he even said he at one point he thought like it might even been a joke, like a trick that he was pulling on him or some shit.
Oh,
Because like that's not the first time that he pulled a gun on him or like he's woken up to him getting a gun pointed at him.
yeah. He woke
Well,
up.
he's a
to
prankster.
gun put in his face.
Yeah.
He's a prankster, and he just assumed like, oh, well, not assumed, but just in the shock of it was like, is he fucking with me? Like, yeah, and then quickly realized he wasn't.
Oh.
But
I
yeah,
feel
it happens. It happened the way they like played into that, and then they edited that, and it like you just see the screen flash because obviously when the muzzle goes off, that was really well done and shocking, super
Man,
awful.
that poor dude.
Holy shit! Man.
That poor dude.
That to me was probably when it really started to change the tone a bit, and
Well, that's when everyone said that. That's when he lost it, right? When Joe Exotic lost it.
That's what
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah.
And that's when like the Carole stuff like ramped up, and he wasn't like taking care of the animals anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what the worst part about this whole fucking thing is that it started off like us thinking about like animals and how like they're being affected by this. 4 or 5 episodes in, you're like, holy shit! Look at these fucking crazy people. And, like we're not even like thinking about the animals at this point.
Yeah.
It's just like all the interactions between them. The animals are like fucking second, third, fourth, eighth. Compared to like all the crazy shit happening.
And basically, Joe Exotic starts to fall apart. Everything's falling apart. So he brings in a partner. And now we're like in act 4 or 5 at this point. And the guy, what was the guy's
Jeff?
name? Jeff
Lowe.
Jeff Lowe. Yeah, Lowe. Yeah, I was thinking because of like the hardware store.
They just you're like, this guy's got to be doing something wrong. The way he looks, he just looks.
He looked
Just-
from fucking 2000 and like 6 with the affliction shirts and
Yeah, with him with all the pictures of the girls and holding tigers, like taking them into clubs and shit. Like, what are you doing, guy?
Yeah, and then him and his wife are like swingers, not shy about it.
Yeah.
And again, he
beat up his wife, choked his wife out.
yeah.
Boy,
So he
before
brings
that.
what?
Before
Oh,
that.
sorry. Well, before that, they presented him as like, oh, he has money. He was showing up in a Ferrari. They did the whole thing with the video and the mansion. So they're presenting this as the person who has money. So Joe's thinking, oh, he's gonna be an investor, and then shit keeps going.
Well, right. So again, in typical Oklahoma fashion, Joe Exotic decides to bring in a fella in to help invest in his
Exotic
zoo, in his exotic park.
Exotic zoo.
And guess what? It didn't work out. Who would have thought that coming?
Who'd have thunk? Like that?
Who would have thunk?
Do you think Jeff knew all along that do you think he had that plan to take this asset away from him?
Absolutely.
Well, yeah.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Think about it.
You think he set him up?
He's
Absolutely.
a fucking con man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
They
a con
showed
man.
that he kept suggesting in front of Joe like how he could do it. Like he kept bringing it up
Mm-hmm.
and kind of pushing him. You know, you see something, you manipulate.
He even says it like at one point, like, did I manipulate Joe Exotic? Yeah, to get the truth out there, or like something like that,
Yeah.
just to
No, to get him out of the business.
Yeah.
He literally said that on camera.
Yeah.
like-
Exactly.
People are stupid. So we're leaving out the why. So pretty much at the end of this, or towards the end of this, Joe Exotic is in jail for plotting to kill Carole.
Well, they had stuff on him.
But the story goes that he had hired somebody, a hitman, to go kill her. Hitman didn't do it, but this is how it ties back into Jeff.
Yeah.
So Jeff came in, invested, didn't like Joe, or maybe even if he did like him, he probably would have still tried to like pull this shit because he's kind of a piece of shit.
Something that they said about Joe Exotic earlier on is that he would put things into other people's names because he didn't want anything tied to like his own to him.
Yeah.
Because like when they got sued, like he didn't want to give anything to anyone, so
Yeah.
he put it in all his different workers' names, and everyone was the VP of this and VP of that or all this other shit, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm guessing happened right there when Jeff came in. He's like, yeah, I'll just make him one of these like owners, and then pretty much took it away from him.
That's exactly what happened. That's how we ended up
Yeah.
stealing the zoo, because they were gonna switch it to Jeff, and Jeff's going to take over, so it wouldn't go back to Joe, but just like now it's mine. He kept it, and that's why later on, Joe had to be like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna take what's mine and try to take out all the tigers he could at night, and I don't know what the fuck it was.
Had to ship
And
out
then-
all the tigers.
Yeah, and then. Yep, and then Jeff at one point says, "If I ever see him back in the zoo, I'm gonna shoot him in the face."
Look, if he's ever on the property, I'm gonna shoot him where he stands or something like that.
That was all the fallout after the campaign thing, right?
Yeah, so we haven't talked about
the
it.
campaign stuff. I forgot about the campaign shit.
So much.
I
Oh
thought this
my
would
God.
be this podcast makes no sense. So at one point, Joe Exotic decided to run for president. He decides
Yeah, president was
What?
first. No, you're right.
Yeah.
No,
President was
no,
first,
it was president, then
then governor.
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 Yeah, so I actually remember that. So they played a clip on from Joe Exotic's campaign run. They played it on what's that
Last
show?
week tonight.
No.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
Last
Daily
Week
Show?
Tonight.
What was so it was that show, yeah. I remember seeing that. I actually do remember seeing him make fun of Joe Exotic on Last Week Tonight. And it I was like, I had this flashback, that I do remember seeing that. And so Joe Exotic got the idea to run for president. Didn't work out too well. Once he quit that race, he started to spend a lot of money. He went for governor instead. Oklahoma.
I thought he
Didn't-
would win.
Yeah, he thought he would win. And to be honest, he had 13% of the vote.
Not too shabby, honestly.
Yeah. Uh,
I'm gonna get 13%.
And my first thought was, after seeing this, that he could, at this point, he could probably have a legitimate run for presidency. Like, in terms of actually getting votes, he would probably get a lot of votes. Yeah. Yeah.
Never
Oh, I
vote
mean,
for
considering who's
I'd vote for
been
him.
president recently,
Stop it.
I was like, this is not good, because Joe Exotic could run for president and he might win. It's awful, but that's.
The Tiger King of America?
Don't say that. Don't say that. You're only putting it out there, and it cannot in any way be a
Look,
meme.
and then Jeff Loeb's gonna come in and just take it right from him. Take
No.
America right under
As his
him.
vice president.
Affliction
Here,
Affliction
you
with a
signed
bandana
the
and a
real
hat.
president one.
How the fuck is this guy dressing like? And he's still dressed like that. Like, it's just weird.
Yeah, we thought it was like a sign of the times. It's like, no, that's just who he is.
Yeah. So I want to switch over real quick to the one guy who gets painted as kind of innocent, who's at least seems to be morally somewhat okay, the strip club owner,
The informant.
the informant. Yeah.
The FBI informant, the one that comes in a fucking jet ski.
Oh, dude, Rocky, right? Dun, 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 dun,
I laughed
dun, dun.
so loud.
No idea what's happening. Fucking, I loved it. I don't give a shit why. I don't give a shit why they put that in there. It's fucking perfect.
He had to have asked him to do that on purpose.
And he starts to pull up and he takes his sunglasses off, and they're doing it in slow motion.
It's so bad. Oh,
That was really good. That was really good. And it seems like out of all this stuff, the little swindling small town guy who owns the skeevy businesses. I'm sure he's just watching out for his own ass, but he's out of all of them, I forgot his fucking name, Lafferty or something like that. He's the one that probably did the least bad. I mean,
Dude, when they go and talk to one of Joe Exotic's husbands, how did you feel about this guy being the informant? I'm like, he was the informant? He was all surprised about that?
No one knew.
yeah, that was really good. They cut in on him, and they don't.
Yeah.
He's totally surprised that guy was informing on his
He
ex-husband.
was like, oh, whoops. Like,
Yeah.
I wonder how much he really like said to him, like realizing,
Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna get nailed for something, but he just seemed to be like just trying to provide the money for things and not really getting involved, which was the smartest thing to do. If you were anywhere near these people, don't get involved. You know, run,
he had a
run.
lemur.
Well,
Run.
He also got mad because he gave Jeff the idea to do the new zoo in Texas, but then got cut out.
Well, next to Texas.
Next Texas, and then got cut out.
Oh yeah, they introduced that brand new guy too, right? The
yeah.
other guy with Jeff,
Some wildlife dude. I forgot his name.
who was doing all the work.
His
Yeah, and he
buddy,
gets pissed
ex-con
off,
buddy, another ex-con.
and he goes,
That guy's fucking funny, by the way.
He reminds me of who's the guy who played Merle on Walking Dead? What's his name?
Well, the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, kind of like that. Just like
Yeah, he does kind of like
no filter, shit talking, like crazy madman. Like doesn't give any shits.
Yeah.
Like there was no mask on that dude. That guy was just like, he's like talking. He's just talking mad shit about everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't gonna fucking do that shit. Fuck it. Yeah.
The Hitman.
Yeah, the one that left for $3,000 and didn't go to fucking Florida and just chill.
No, that's not the hitman that I'm talking
No,
about.
that's another guy. There's two different guys.
There was a guy with the monkey in his shirt.
Oh yes, you're right. The
Oh.
wildlife guy, the wildlife guy that yeah, and then they ended up joining with Jeff.
But the other guy
and he-
did remind me of Merle. You're right.
That's I got my bad. That's my fault.
No, the hitman does.
There's so
No,
many
no.
people in this show.
We didn't even talk about the guy that's hard to get in contact with when they went up to his gate. The security guard's like, no, you can.
Oh my god, the Cuban.
Oh, the
Yeah.
drug kingpin.
The
I forgot about the drug kingpin.
There's so many fucking crazy characters, dude. It's ridiculous. I need to go back and
What
rewatch
was
this whole
wrong
thing.
again? I forgot.
I don't know, but they based fucking Scarface on this, dude.
He wasn't. Didn't
No.
he help Doc?
The-
Didn't he help Doc to get started?
Yeah,
Wasn't that him?
yeah. So basically there's this guy who was like a big drug dealer and coke runner in the '80s, and then but he had like a love for animals. And after he did his time, he like kind of opened up his own zoo, like everybody's doing in this show, and he's supposed to be legit. You know, like
He's the only
Like,
one that I actually believed. Honestly,
When he was explaining like what he did back in the day, he's like, what am I gonna say now? That I wasn't there? That I wasn't there when they chopped off his head? I'm like, what are you
Yeah.
saying?
right. He goes, I didn't do it, but I was there. Like, it
yeah.
happened.
So I get it why he got in trouble. I watched it. I didn't try to stop him.
He got in trouble.
Holy shit!
I was like,
Everyone.
Well, this honesty is the best policy. It's just
He's
Jeez.
so nonchalant about it. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Wait, what?
yeah. This guy was involved in some Tony Montana level shit, and he's just
So the whole point of this whole thing is that Joe Exotic went to jail for supposedly trying to murder Carole. I want to say
Carole
Burnett, but I know that's not it.
But the crazy thing is too, is that later on, the way they make it seem is that like the original charge wasn't gonna stick real well, so then they fucking got him on everything else.
Oh yeah, they got him on all the animal
yeah,
stuff.
on the animal stuff, and that's where it got really like, okay, they're gonna fuck him on that. So then he goes to trial, and he's thinking, I'm gonna fucking
Breeze right through this.
yeah. He goes,
And then
oh,
all his homies come up.
yep. The old workers come up and like, yeah, he did shoot this animal, and yeah, this happened, and yeah. But the thing is, when he went up on the state to testify, even though his lawyers said don't do it, everyone said don't testify. Joe's like, fuck you guys, I'm gonna testify.
Gonna testify.
And he
Watch
did
this.
it. The thing is, like
Oh my
but every question he was presented and everything, he had an answer, and it made sense.
He's like, what am I supposed to do with tigers when they get old? I have to, euthanize them
Or
and
shoot
give them a proper burial. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like,
Yeah, they get
'cause
sick.
They
Yeah.
found 5 tiger heads in one area or something like
And
that.
he goes, yeah, they were sick. I had to do it. Like, it's either you euthanize them or you shoot them. It was easier to shoot them. You're like, that makes sense. But
Like every, and I'm like, but you hear, oh yeah, we dug up 5 tiger skulls, and I'm like,
Oh.
holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was a point there that they were going to play on like the emotions of the jury, because people don't like animal abuse, you know. So that was going to be one of the things that they're going to get him on into. But they end up getting him on the murder thing too, anyways, right?
yeah,
So
The exchange,
So-
the exchange of money. is what-
yeah,
yeah,
because
he
because
gave him 3,000. The tent was there.
yeah.
Yeah, what was it like? I just need Joe to give me $5 to make sure that there's money exchange for this. Like,
Yeah.
like
Well,
he's
that-
pretty much saying what he did.
that's definitely the point where I really started to not trust Jeff, when he was just being so pushy about like just trying to get him to like change any money, you know, like, here, hold this $10 for me, you know, like anything to like get him to like get in trouble. Like he wasn't being that slick about it, you know. And yeah, that's definitely those phone calls between him and the hitman.
Which, I don't know how that guy got out.
Yeah, that was one of the things about the case. Like, I kind of was like, that sucks, is that everybody got away with everything they did.
Yeah.
For Joe.
Except for Joe. And
So,
At the end, he's like, "Well, I'm telling on everybody."
yeah, fucking,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, fucking everyone. He was the Takashi fucking 6ix9ine out there.
Fuck you. Here's
Yeah.
all my info. He has info on everyone.
yeah, so they basically jailed the wrong person, and he's gonna sing now, and that's kind of where the show ends, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he's in
So it
jail.
ends with he's in
Rob-
jail and Doc gets got, and I think they're in the process of getting Jeff, or he got too.
So Doc got his whole compound got raided. So we don't know what's going
Right.
on, but they got raided. Jeff, his investigation's still ongoing, and more than likely he's gonna get on other shit that he said on camera. We don't know about Carole, but I've been seeing a lot of people. What was it like? They're bringing up like, well, if anybody has information on a Netflix documentary about Carole, please tell us. Like they want to reopen the cold case on her husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two biggest things I've seen from like all the memes is just things about Joe Exotic, and just like how everything he's done. Like, I've seen Dr. Disrespect holding a fucking tiger, like, with his head replaced. And there's one thing I know for sure is that Carole killed her husband. Like, that meme is popping up everywhere.
So many memes. It's
But
Yeah.
you know what? Like, honk if you think Carole's a bitch.
Damn.
Yeah.
I saw a Wheel of Fortune meme, and it's Carol something definitely killed her husband, and like something like people have killed her husband. Like, that was the subject.
Yeah, there was remember when they were talking about how like they basically, so her husband dies or disappears, and they don't have any funeral for him or
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
And she describes the day that she got the letter that that his death certificate came in the mail, that she got it and then started to stare out the window, and then when she came to, it was nighttime, and
Yeah.
that was her way of mourning for him.
Wow.
I was like, you could have came up with something better.
So much.
And then so then she goes back to the zoo or whatever, and she goes, "No one ever speak his name again. He's dead to us. He's been like written out of history." Like, she like fucking demolished everything about him, right? Like, she like
She salted the
memories,
earth of his name, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of fishiness. I mean, she is a fucking weirdo, but
And a murderer.
but yeah,
She's not doing anything illegal.
well, she's got like, yeah, I know that she's gonna live the rest of her life as a free woman.
Or
she got the money to fight. That's the problem, right?
True.
But
Like,
she's got like a little. I think she's like a little. I think she hides her emotions because she might be a little on the spectrum. I just think that's part of it. I think she doesn't
On the
show her
murder
emotions.
spectrum?
Yeah.
No, on not the murder spectrum. It's not a thing.
all right. Going back to Dark Knight 05 #1 fans question. Who is the worst one?
Carole or Jeff? It's because Jeff is a fucking con man, and he ended up stealing the zoo from Joe. But Carol's just like, she's that crazy where she does this. Oh, I'm right. I'm doing this, but she fucks everyone. I hate her.
Well, I don't like Carole because of her history too. Like she's supposedly an animal lover, but she was selling animals in an awful way. And I'm all down for redemption, but she doesn't one time show any sort of, unless they never, unless that it got edited out.
Yeah.
Which could have, they could have edited something about her feeling remorseful about the past, But as far as the Netflix editors decided to make her into a bad guy, it seems to show no remorse or connection to the past,
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she paints, like they kind of paint, I think she paints it or somebody paints it as like she loved the animals, but her ex-husband was more about the money.
Mm-hmm.
But then they show that guy who has that video of her that's like on a VHS tape that's just in like a pile of junk that basically incriminates her, right? As being a person who's like, you can breed animals, way to breed, and breeding should be okay for sale, which is like the complete opposite of what she is now supposedly standing for.
Yeah.
I think everybody in this story is pretty greedy, except the criminals that work for Joe. For the most part, they tend to be the best people. But the worst,
I like the drug dealer the most. Tony Montana, I think he was the most sane out of everyone.
Yeah, he's just such a small part of it, though. I don't count him as like too much of a main character.
I feel really
about the guy with no legs.
The guy with no legs.
We'll talk about our best characters, which is probably the guy with no legs. But so I mean, Carole, not any of his ex-husbands who were like not gay and fucking women on the side. Yeah, and they're just there for drugs and
ran away with like a teller.
Or do you think Joe was taking advantage of them?
Oh, the cashier, right?
He was a predator for that.
So Joe's not the bad guy either. You think Carole's still worse than Joe?
Yes.
Even at the end when they show that Joe's just about money, he's not really about the animals anymore.
Well, he still didn't murder a husband and feed him to the tigers.
No, we don't.
Allegedly.
They're probably in cahoots.
Allegedly. Right?
He probably killed her husband, and now they were trying to like.
They said maybe the arson part. They said that was him who did that, right?
Oh, so we haven't even talked about the director.
Arson, the producer and shit. I forgot about that. Oh my god.
There's so much.
That was its own thing.
So part of the documentary is that they're filming a documentary which is following a reality show which is supposedly producing Joe's exotic show. So there's a producer who is like who teams up with Joe and tells Joe, "I'll film your internet's web series," because Joe wanted to.
I'll make you legit.
Yeah, I'll make you look legit on the internet. But what the guy was more interested in was creating a reality show to exploit Joe, and then sell it to a network. And so everything's going kind of normal, kind of okay. They start to have disagreements because Joe realizes that this guy basically owns him,
Yeah.
He says it. I own you.
And then Joe goes talk to his lawyer and then realizes he owns everything that he's filming. You can't tell him not to show certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly after the studio explodes. So who did it? Who blew up the producer's studio? How is this only 7 episodes? So, who done it? Who blew up the producer's
But the way they framed it early, they framed it like, oh, maybe it was the producer who did it for some reason. You're like,
they framed it like Carole did it.
There's a possibility. There's also the Carole thing. So
they framed it like Carole did.
Oh yeah.
But then,
if anyone has any information out there about who burned down my shed,
you're like, oh,
fuck that bitch, Carole.
It was you all along.
Because he put that video of her with the picture. He kept putting those pictures out there with the girls with the rabbits.
The bunnies, yeah.
Oh, right, the rabbits.
Oh my god, when they photoshopped her on the guy in diaper, they photoshopped Carole with the photo of the man in a diaper. Fuck, dude, that was funny. I laughed at that too. But so yeah, so they initially said it might have been Carole. Then they said it might have been the producer himself.
Yep.
Why?
Because they had an argument, and I forgot the full reason, but like they
I don't remember why.
He was out of town.
Joe was out of town.
Supposedly Joe was out of town on the funeral, and
Mhm.
then something about the producer that he was pissed about something, and so it made it seem like, oh, maybe he did it. Yeah, there's no way he did it. It was Joe. It was Joe the whole fucking time.
Yeah, but then you could have been Joe because Joe was mad that he owned everything, so he could have left town, hired somebody to blow up his studio and ruin all the footage that the producer had basically captured.
They had footage of the person who did it. I mean, it could have been anybody.
Right, because
Oh yeah, that's true.
The person walking across.
Yeah.
and it kind of looks like the producer's hat, kind of.
Husband, I thought.
It
Like who?
Also would have been the husband, the one with the meth mouth one.
Meth mouth, yeah.
I don't lie. That was really distracting. Every time he was interviewed,
it's like one tooth here, and nothing else.
Yeah.
You can fit your fist between his teeth. I mean, the guy has really bad meth mouth, which is a tragic thing.
Yeah.
I heard later on he goes, "Why didn't they let him refilm it? Because he fixed his teeth after that."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, they had to
Well,
pay
those
him
initial
first.
reactions are pretty
Yeah,
good.
get him right when it matters.
Yeah. I mean, if you imagine what the story would have been if he had perfect teeth, it wouldn't have been.
He wouldn't have been. I don't think he would have been in it as much.
Yeah, just like that scene where that woman got her arm ripped off. If Joe didn't go get that jacket, it wouldn't have been the same scene.
So we've been going for over an hour now.
We're
just saying.
over time.
All right, so Carole, you're worst. Dwayne, who's the worst person out of this like bundle of bad people?
Maybe Dr.
Plethora of evil.
The doctor.
Doc?
Doctor. His whole cult thing.
Can we stop calling him doctor? He's not a fucking doctor.
I'm not calling him doctor. I'm calling him Doc.
What was it called? Like Earth Science? Worldly Science?
No, Earth science is a real science. He's a mystics.
Someone
Was-
Doctor and Mystics.
Yeah. He's mystics. Not.
Man,
If he was an Earth scientist, he would actually be an actual scientist.
yeah, that got kind of creepy because
I love it when they reveal that part too, because you're like, "Fuck this guy." Because at first I was like, "Oh, doctor. He must be like he must be a veterinarian. Like, he must have something to do with wildlife conservation. Like, he's a legit
What?
studied man."
Yeah.
No, he's a mystic.
yeah,
Who
My
fucks-
favorite thing about him was the whole every time he was like one of his scenes, he's gonna start talking. Like, what should this scene be? Should I be over here talking about this over here?
Yeah, they didn't.
Here we are with it. Like,
Yeah, they left that shit in on purpose.
yeah, just to show you like what type of person he is.
Yeah, that was awesome.
he's directing this entire thing.
Yeah, he's like, look, look, he's a better director than I am, the director of the documentary.
Yeah,
There was the scene where the guy was trying to talk to him about, it might be a cult, and he's like, I know what you're doing. Trying to lead me on, trying to lead me to this, but he's like, whoa.
You're not the first person. Like, you're not the first person to come on here and accuse me of all these. Like,
Yeah, like-
I know exactly which road you're gonna down. You're gonna say all these things, and I'm gonna have to defend myself. Then I'm gonna look like the bad guy. Like, they're like, whoa, that was just
Yeah,
an
calm
easy
down,
question.
shit.
Yeah,
so that's your worst. Edgar?
I'm gonna go with the Tigers.
No,
They're the worst.
I
in
actually,
here.
that last scene from the end when they're showing the chimpanzee and the hand through the cage, and they're showing the tigers, and then you kind of realize what's fucked up is like they were just victims of like
Yeah.
stupid humans. You
Oh,
know, like it's
yeah. Oh,
and then at the very end, I could probably see hating Joe too, but they had this clip before he goes to jail when he's talking about the chimpanzees, and he says that he had to give up his chimpanzees, and he had to take him to this place in Florida that basically gave them this huge yard to be chimpanzees, and he says like, do you think would I say that I robbed them of 10 years of that? And he's like, yeah, I would say I kept them from being chimpanzees. And I was like, okay, all right,
He understands.
this guy, well, the thing is, like the entire illusion that he was like getting worse and worse towards, because you got to remember they had that clip of him at the very, very beginning when he's talking about how breeding is bad. Like this is early Joe Exotic. Like breeding is bad, and then like at some point he like starts to transform.
He lost his way.
Exotic. He became exotic, and then the money. You're right. He's for the listeners. Percy's doing a hand gesture.
Yeah. A little hand gesture of money.
$2,000 per tiger cut, wasn't it?
5.
Nobody threw out.
2 to 5.
2, bro.
Yeah, and then snaps out of it. Yeah, he really just snapped out of it when he's like, I'm out, like I'm done. Yeah, I was like, that sucks, dude. I mean, he's done a lot of bad, but like, hopefully, I don't know. That was crazy. Yeah. So the evil people are the tigers, I guess. Really?
All right, evil. Yeah, I have to go with probably Carole. I have to go with Carole. There's so much there.
And they were trying to ruin him. Like, yeah, like they're really out there to ruin him when they themselves aren't really great people either. Oh, by the way, I have to remember to unfollow their page on YouTube. 1 second.
Yeah, please unfollow.
Oh, you remember that they threw out at the end? But there are more
tigers in captivity.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, there's 4,000 tigers in the wild and 5,000 to 10,000 in captivity in the U.S. alone.
Jeez.
So.
By the way, in the chat we have number 1 fan, Colochal. I had to sign up to the app just to say fuck Carole.
She's in.
And we got number 1 fan, Dark Knight. She's an evil bitch. And then Colocha again. I wonder where her dead fiance or where her dead husband is.
In the newer somewhere.
God. In the septic tank. Why don't you just check the septic tank? That's all I'm saying.
Under the septic tank, they had to dig that shit out.
So Carole, yeah, I mean they really were pushing that, and they were trying to ruin him, and yeah. So Carole and husband are pretty shitty people. Carole and new husband, who
weirdo.
Yeah, which is fine. Like I said,
that show come out or movie? Isn't there a show?
Well,
they're already casting
of what?
A show of this whole thing.
No, they can't.
Like next to a show.
I hope they don't. Like it was just
each episode's a season.
Yeah, pretty much. But honestly, like the way it is, like you can't try to break this down. It was magical as it was by itself.
Yeah, it's too soon for that. I would say my like evil shitty person was probably Jeff.
Close second for me, yeah.
Because he's like he tries to really play it like he's legit and he's like innocent.
Like I'm the good guy here. I don't know what you're about.
I was trying to help. I came to help.
I'm trying to tell you this. We're over here.
Yeah, but he's
every person he worked with fucking hated him and ended up,
That's why I like that guy, the straight talking like no bullshit guy that gets in business with him for like 2 minutes.
Front, right?
Yeah, with the monkey in the front guy. And
the guy was doing all the work. Yeah.
And then, but he realizes it. He's like, fuck this guy. I'm out of here. Like, there's no drama. There's no drama. There's no like conversation or drawn out anything. He's just like, fuck this guy. I'm out. Like, that's it. That's where it ends. There's no bullshit involved.
That was just a bad business partners. All
right, peace. I'm not gonna. Yeah. My camera.
What did you do?
We're okay.
And with that.
Well, who's your favorite person, real quick?
Favorite?
No favorite, but I feel worse for the campaign manager. Like I think he went through so much shit.
Yeah, the campaign manager went through a lot of shit.
I think that guy. Yeah, he was very funny though.
I don't even think Joe Exotic knew what a libertarian was.
I'm not gonna go with him because he's a libertarian. I'm gonna go with
Who
no.
else?
I'm gonna go with No Legs.
No Legs is pretty good.
Yeah.
Good one.
And I really liked him, and I like that his life continued, and he's doing like that. He's working on cars and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him.
The reality TV, the producer dude, he wasn't that bad. He was actually pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Montana guy,
Which one?
the drug dealer guy.
Yeah, he was
Oh.
pretty good.
Yeah, the Montana guy. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
good too.
Yeah.
He was the most sensible. You're like
The girl that got her arm chewed off.
Oh, yeah.
Like even her saying at the end, like yeah, even all of this, it wasn't about the animals anymore, and it's just like their own personal piss party or whatever the hell she said.
Yeah. But it was a very interesting, wild roller coaster of a show.
this whole world that we just don't know exists.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm gonna rewatch it.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I'm gonna rewatch it, but with reactors, and then then picking out the best parts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did that with Lost
need to
today.
rewatch it because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of shit I missed out. So
Yeah, I really wanted to talk about this, and then 10 minutes into this podcast, I realized like there's just too many tangents, and it starts to not make sense. It's really hard.
Yeah, even going episode by episode, there's fucking 50 tangents.
We skipped over so much.
Let's see, what did we miss out? What did we not
there's
talk
so
about?
much things.
We did talk.
The failed bus with animals in Las Vegas. They barely like glossed over that.
Yeah.
I want to know what happened there.
Yeah, he's doing the tours, and that's why they're trying to get him copyright infringement.
And I just like that he said like that was a fucking mistake. they just skipped over it.
Yeah. Carol's bike path, how they were gonna murder her.
How Jeff was looking it up.
Right.
On Google.
Yeah.
Maps.
Which is
Like all that shit's on Jeff's computer. That ain't on mine.
How the guy, the supposed hitman, didn't even go to Florida. He went somewhere else and went on.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just wanted to
Alabama or
fuck
something.
Joe over.
well, he was heading back home.
It's on tape where he says, "Yeah, I ain't gonna go to Florida. Fuck Florida or something. Fuck Tampa."
I'm going
Yeah.
to fucking Florida. Fuck that place.
What?
Well, he said he said he was gonna go back home to South Carolina, but ended up going to like a strip club with all that money instead.
God.
And they didn't say it, but I'm just gonna assume he spent all 3,000 in one night.
And then they talked about how ridiculous it was that it was. Well, the suggested amount was 5,000. Like to kill somebody, have somebody kill $5,000.
And it becomes $3,000. Like
Yeah, you
you gotta
only
go across the country.
That's
Yeah.
why they're having trouble sticking it to him because of the specifics of that. They're like, ugh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
So
Jeff.
much.
Yes, it was just so much. It was crazy. It was wild. It was a great suggestion, Dwayne. Really appreciate that.
Do we have any homework for next week?
Oh my god. I don't know. I'm worn out. That was too much.
No homework.
Yes.
All right.
Let it. So
Next week we'll talk about Dave next week.
Dave.
Dave.
Yeah.
I'm all caught up.
I like Dave.
It's a change of pace for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we could just turn this podcast into a murder show podcast if you guys want. We just talk about cases. Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure we missed something. I want to hear you guys' opinions.
Yeah. What was your favorite villain?
Yeah. Let us know on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. I'm sure this will have its own post, so just comment below that. And yeah, thanks for joining us on this wild, wacky adventure that was Tiger King.
Mm-hmm.
What do you?
You are who?
I am Slunk. Why would you? I'm doing the outro, Edgar. Don't interrupt me. I was doing it just fine, and then you fucking distracted me.
Anyways, this is Percival.
Wait.
That's Slunk. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next week. Thanks for bye and all that stuff.
Hasta luego. And he's gotta go pee. On the way.
That's hilarious.